us right now at the SIAM Convention is Nalinikanth Gollagunta, who is the CEO of the Automotive Division of Mahindra Group. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me begin by asking you, the GST cut is the talk of the town here at the SIAM Convention. Clearly, it's uplifted the mood. But on the ground, are you looking at real demand uptick, or is it only going to be 22nd September onwards?
Yeah, so Parikshit, thank you for the opportunity. So obviously the GST reforms for us is a great step in moving the industry forward. And if you look at our portfolio, and I'm giving specifically on the auto, if you look at our portfolio, 40% of our portfolio falls in the category where the GST has gone from 31%, 28% down to 18%. And 60% of our vehicle portfolios sits in the higher end of the category where it goes from the 43 to 50% down to 40%, right? So for us across the portfolio, we have significant benefit to the customers. And that's the way we look at it. For us, the GST reforms is really a way to provide an opportunity for customers to have the vehicles at an affordable price. And so what we have done is we said, listen, if on 22nd September, there's going to be a benefit which the customer is going to enjoy, we're going to find ways to support them even earlier than that. So we announced that we're going to give a similar kind of scheme from September 6th. And too early to say the impact, to be honest. But the walk-ins have come in and quite a bit of excitement and queries have gone up. But it's too early to predict how it's going to turn out in terms of the festive season. But we're quite optimistic that it'll be a great festive season.
So you're literally giving the same price to the customer that you'll offer on 22nd, and you're offering it right now.
That's right. While we can't change it in the terms of the GST itself that happens on 22nd, but whatever benefit they're getting, we're giving it in terms of the schemes itself, so that there's no reason for them to wait and they can go out and buy.
All right. So in terms of bookings, could you give us a sense of what's the uptick you've seen, actual surge since the time the GST cut was announced?
Again, very early days. It's not even a week since we put out the announcement for us. So hard to say at this point in time. I'd say that we'll be in a better position to talk about it probably end of this month or early next month.
Okay. Overall, for the rest of the fiscal and for the full fiscal year, how do you expect the demand to increase on a sustained basis?
Yeah, so if you remember, one of the things we had done at the beginning of the year is we put out a forecast on what our growth will look like, which is mid to high teens growth for our SUV portfolio in terms of volume. It is an aggressive number. If you remember, I think there's a lot of people in the press and in the industry who are questioning that when an industry is going to be flat, Mahindra has put out an aggressive target. So it is an aggressive target, and this kind of helps us go towards and achieving that number. If you see the first quarter, we did about 22% growth in terms of volume. So we've been on a good clip so far, and we are staying with that mid to high teens growth of volume, and this will help us get there.
Right. So would you stay with this forecast for the rest of the year?
Yeah, at this point in time, very early to say if there's any change, but we'd stay with the forecast, yes.
All right. I would also like to ask you about when it comes to expanding your presence around the country or maybe exports. What's going to be the focus of capital investments from the group?
No, absolutely. So you're talking beyond the product development efforts we're putting. So for us at this point in time, the primary effort on the domestic front is expanding our service network. As you know, we have had 20% growth a couple of years now. And this year, like I said, we're looking at mid to high teens growth. So for us, ability to serve the customer is foremost for us in terms of service network. And that's something we've been growing at a healthy pace, about 10-15% on a yearly basis. So we'll continue to go down that path and make sure we are providing that kind of capillarity of the network, if I may call it that. Beyond that, I think the focus is now starting to become a lot more important for us on the international front. South Africa has been a very strong market for us. It's now our second largest market. Australia is starting to do well as well for us. And so we're starting to put plans in place for growing beyond that. UK is something we have on our horizon. We're looking at a 18 to 24 month time frame for going into UK. BEVs help us get there. The new IQ portfolio, which we launched on 15th August, is the next step in that direction as well. So the goal is we now have world-class vehicles. The BEVs is the first step there. New IQ get us next step towards it. And then so we'll continue to now start to focus on the international markets.
Right. Could you also give us a sense of the customer sentiment right now and the demand trends that you see in terms of your SUV portfolio? What is the kind of profile of customers coming in to buy some of the top-end SUVs or electric vehicles from the brand?
Yeah, so stepping back about 15 months back, we launched 3XO. That's on the lower end of the spectrum. Then we had the Thar Rocks, which came, very exciting product launch we had out there. And we had two more BEV launches, which happened right after that, which is the XEV90 and BE6. Across all four of them, we have had strong demand. 3XO, for example, was the fastest to cross 100,000 within the Mahindra portfolio. Within a year, we did that as well. Rocks continues to do quite well for us. And then, of course, the BEVs are doing quite very well. We are already the number one in terms of revenue market share in the EV space within 2 quarters as well. So the demand on that is doing extremely well for us. Now, on the rest of the portfolio, with the GST cut, which we are passing on to the customers, you suddenly have a very strong value proposition on the Bolero portfolio, on the Scorpio portfolio as well. And as you know, rural has been doing very well for us as an industry. And so this should give us growth coming from that part of the segment as well.
Right. I'd ask, coming back to the GST issue, Mahindra Group has stopped billing vehicles to the dealer right now because of the compensation cess issue. When does the billing process actually begin? And will you be able to meet that festive demand during Navratri, considering there is going to be a gap?
Yeah, so that's the fine line we have to play on at this point in time. We took a call late part of August to take a look at this carefully because we knew that there was no clarity on the cess side from the government yet. And so going ahead and putting the dealers under even more pressure than what they had on the top end of the spectrum, where the cess component is almost 20%, would be something we didn't want to do. So we've taken a cautious approach on that. And we, of course, both as an industry association, SIAM, as well as FADA, have made representations to the government to provide clarity on the cess. So that journey is going on. We'll see how that plays out. But until 22nd, we're going to be cautious on that front.
Right. So is this going to restrict the amount of inventory you'll be able to put into system?
No, so we have taken steps to ensure that we'll still be able to meet the festive demand. So there are a few steps we are taking on the front as well. So you'll see that as it plays out. It's like I said, it's not an easy puzzle to solve for, but that's what we are here.
Right. Now the dealers have said that they will suffer a 2,500 crore loss on the 22nd of September if these vehicles are not sold. And of course, right now, being an inauspicious period, you don't have too many customers coming in. How are you addressing this concern? Is Mahindra Group looking at some sort of strategy or share the loss with dealers in some way?
Yeah, so as an industry, it's a fairly big number. It's going to be hard for any of the players to take the burden in one shot. One of the things we are doing is the schemes we put out right now, right? So that there's no reason for customers to wait till 22nd. So we are hoping that gives an opportunity for folks to go ahead and buy the vehicles even before 22nd. That takes the pressure off for us, especially on the larger vehicles. But beyond that, honestly, we're looking for direction from the government at this point in time on what clarity they can bring to the industry.
All right. Just to ask you about the growth momentum here onwards. There is, of course, a lot of geopolitical uncertainty. There are India-US tensions. India is negotiating different trade agreements. How is all of that impacting India's automotive sector and Mahindra & Mahindra?
Yeah, so like you said, it's a geopolitical puzzle I think the governments are trying to solve. It's a highly dynamic situation. So it will not be prudent for me to comment on the tariff situation or the trade agreements at this point in time. It's best left to the governments to negotiate with each other. From our end, the UK FTA was a very positive development for us, and we look forward to leveraging any more FTAs which come along the way.
Right. Two more questions. On the China rare earth magnet issue, to what extent has it eased?
Yeah, so for us, we took some key de-risking steps even a quarter ago. And so it's a key area of focus for us. So we've de-risked the current quarter and the next quarter. And we have a couple of components we are looking for Q4. But beyond that, at this point in time, we are not in a different situation where we were earlier. It is not stopping us at this point in time from a production. And we are secure for this quarter and the next quarter.
Right. And any more launches lined up for this fiscal?
Yeah, of course. We have a couple of more EV launches coming up later part of this calendar and early part of next calendar as well.
All right. Nal, thank you so much for being with us here at CNBC-TV18.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.